Welcome everyone to this Ram Navami special Mukta Chintan that will be done by Dr. Vikram Pattarkine, whom we call fondly as Vikram Dada. The reason why we are doing this is because we all, try to chant Ram Raksha every day or whenever we get a chance. And we all know that Ram's life has been an inspiration for generations, and it's important that we need to pass that down to our next generation, and that's why we do it. And we have to rethink, how his life was and how is it relevant even in today's time. Uh, so Vikram Dada is kind enough to do it for all of us. He himself is a chemical environmental engineer by profession, and has dedicated his life to environmental stewardship. He's also involved in an online lifestyle management program called Sattva, through which participants receive guidance on diet, purification, yoga, spirituality in today's world. He's a keen student of yoga, Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta, and speaks about these topics regularly, which recordings are also available on YouTube. So, without further ado, I would pass on to Vikram Dada for his session on the Sri Ram Navami, on occasion of Sri Ram Navami today. Over to you, Vikram Dada.
Thank you, Milind. First of all, for inviting me and also showing interest in contemplating with me, because whatever I'm going to talk about is going to be my inner experience. If you are here, all of you, first of all, thank you for coming, sparing an hour of your time on a Sunday evening in Bharat and Sunday morning in the US to come and listen to this. It will be a contemplation on what I have learned from Ram's life, Ramayana, Ram Raksha, all these things, and how the Ram is manifested in our own heart. That is the most important thing. Why do we learn different things? We learn different things because by learning them, we are able to operate in this world efficiently, well, and we are able to achieve the desired objectives. The reason we do anything in this world is because we want to be happy. And we think that we are going to become happy by obtaining something or getting rid of something. When we are engaged in obtaining something, then that activity is called in Sanskrit pravrutti. And when we are engaged in getting rid of something, both of the things are done for becoming happy. So for example, we want to get married. Why do we want to get married? We want to be happy. Now, for some reason, after getting married, we are not happy. Then what do? We want to divorce. We want to unmarry, right? So first we got something, we got a wife, then we got tired of her, so we got rid of her. Why did we get rid of her? Why did we get divorced? Because we want to be happy, isn't it? So pravrutti is also for gaining happiness and nivrutti is also for gaining happiness. Correct. So all of our activities are geared towards happiness. But where is this happiness? Where is this joy? Will we learn? Will we ever learn? See, when we start growing up as children, we are very world oriented, material oriented. We see things, we have a very vivid experience of the world. In this world, there are so many things. And when we come out of our mother's body, our eyes open up, our nose opens up, our mouth, our tongue opens up, our ears open up, and our skin opens up. So through these 5 sense organs, we get myriad of experiences. And we get so enchanted by these experiences. We think that by gaining these experiences of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these 5 experiences, those make us either happy or miserable. Of course, when something touches our hand that's really hot, we try to withdraw, nivrutti. If something touches that is very pleasant to touch, then we want that to keep happening. That is pravrutti. So this is true with all sense organs. Okay? When we learn the mechanism of how we become happy, then we will always remain in that experience. Remaining in that experience is the manifestation of Ram in our life. You look at evolution as given in our stories, our Puranas, right? See, we were told by Western science or by modern medicine or modern science that initially life became manifest as a single celled organism. Then it became manifested as, or the same single celled organism became multicellular organism. It evolved somehow. How, we don't know. Our Puranas will tell you that initially life came about on this planet in water. Okay. So the first avatar we see in our scriptures is Matsya avatar, fish. So life form existed in water, completely submerged in water. Then life evolved. Then the next avatar is Kurma avatar. So now it has become an amphibian. So it's capable of living in water and it's capable of living on the land as well. Kurma avatar, tortoise. Then life evolved further. The next avatar was Varaha avatar. Varaha avatar means this is a completely terrestrial animal. Okay? It lives only on the land. Then the next avatar was half animal and half man. That is the Narasimha avatar. That Narasimha manifested himself as half animal and half lion. I mean, half lion and half man. Because of some purpose. These stories we all know. I'm just trying to bring you up to the avatar of Ram. So once that Narasimha avatar happened, then the next evolution was a complete man. But that complete man was a dwarf, little man. That's called Vamana avatar. Vamana avatar. And then the next avatar was slightly older. Now he's a teenager. Now he's an angry young man. So that avatar was Parashuram avatar. And then finally, beyond that, this guy grew up and he became Ram. So when he became Ram, he got married, he cooled down a bit. Now he has become much more equanimous. Okay. The interesting story about Parashuram and Ram. So Parashuram was Vishnu 6.0. See, Narayan or Vishnu is incarnating himself in all these cycles of time, right? So Vishnu number 1.0 was Matsya avatar, 2.0 Kurma avatar, 3.0, like that. Parashuram was 6.0. So now we all use our computers, right? My iPhone has, I think, iOS 15, if I'm not wrong, as of now, or maybe 16, I don't know. You are more computer savvy than I am. So anyway, what happens is whenever a new software is written on the device, then the old software gets erased. So the new software, the new version will override the old version. So Parashuram was Narayana 6.0. Ram was Parshuram or Narayana 7.0. So this 7.0 system somehow came in touch with 6.0. So Parashuram, his story was his father was troubled by some Kshatriya. Parashuram was a Brahman. Okay, so his father was troubled by a Kshatriya and he thought that all Kshatriya in this world are a nuisance. So I'm going to eradicate this Kshatriya business. So there will be no Kshatriya, na rahega baas, na bajegi basuri. That was his imagination. Okay, so what did he do? He picked up an axe and he started killing all the Kshatriyas. Now, what is the definition of the word Kshatriya? No, sometimes we get lost in the meanings of the words or we don't even know the meanings of the words. We simply use the words, but we don't understand what those words are. So this Kshatriya word means the one who is holding a weapon is called Kshatriya. जिसके हाथ में शस्त्र होगा वो होगा क्षत्रिय. Now, if Parshuram, the Brahmin, born as a Brahmin, he takes up an axe in his hand. At that moment, he has become Kshatriya. Is it not? So then, what should he do? If he chops off his own head with his own axe, because now he is a Kshatriya, he wants to eradicate all the Kshatriya. So if he eradicates himself, then na rahega baas na bajegi basuri. There will be no Kshatriya left on the planet because he's gone. Correct. So this is our misunderstanding. We want to change the world, but we should not be changing the world. We have to be changing ourselves, not the world. So in spite of making this entire earth nikshatriya, completely eradicating all kshatriyas, I think 21 times. Even then kshatriya remained. Because Ram was a kshatriya, Vishnu 7.0 or Narayana 7.0. So one time this Narayana 6.0 came in contact with Narayana 7.0. Parshuram and Ram met. And Ram erased 6.0. He was defeated. He was in argument or in fight or whatever. Forget about it. Just say that Ram has defeated Parshuram. So after such a defeat, what does a man do? He gets frustrated. In Bharat, everybody says that I'm very frustrated now. I want to go to the Himalayas. I'm going to retire. So Parshuram goes into the Himalayas. In the Himalayas, he finds a simple village man. He's just sitting and enjoying the sun in the Himalayas next to the river. The sun is shining. Imagine, in the summer in the Himalayas. It's beautiful. The sky is clear, the sky is blue, the river is flowing peacefully, and this man is sitting peacefully there. Parshuram is agitated. His mind is agitated because he has just lost the fight with Ram. So once he goes there, he sees that this man is sitting very nicely and quietly. He says, Maharaj, what is going on? I feel so good when I come in contact with you. Just by being in your presence, I feel a great sense of peace and equanimity. He says, I am a village person. I don't really know. You seem to be an intelligent fellow. I don't really know what this is. They say this is called Brahmananda. Brahmananda. Oh, Brahmananda means what? Pure bliss. What is this Brahmananda? I don't know what Brahmananda means. You ask some proper guru. He will guide you. So he says, which guru I should go to? He says, no, you go and talk to this fellow called Dattatreya. Datta Guru. He will tell you. He says, Acha, okay, I'll go and talk to Dattatreya. So Dattatreya, he goes and approaches Dattatreya. He says, Dattatreya Maharaj, Gurudev, tell me, what is this Brahmananda? This fellow is telling me. He is not able to explain. You explain to me. But Dattatreya says to Parshuram, no, 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 you are not going to be able to learn this without doing any homework. No, I cannot just tell you just like that. Homework means preparation, gate examination, gate examination, entrance examination for learning the course. This is what is the examination. He said they are standing next to the river. In Himalayas, you must have seen that when the river flows, there are nice round rocks that come flowing down. Okay, so he picks up a nice round rock from the riverbed or next to the river, and he tells, Dattatreya is telling Parshuram, this is no ordinary rock. This is Tripura Devi. Tripura Devi. Acha, this is Tripura Devi. So what do I do with this? Says, you must worship her. You should keep this Tripura Devi in a nice temple. You can make your own temple. Keep that Tripura Devi like a deity, and you should keep a small cloth underneath and soft cloth. And you should also put nice soft clothes on her, and you should prepare some bhog for her. You should prepare some naivedyam and then offer that to her. But you should eat very simple food. You should eat only, roots and fruits and, things like that. You offer nice food to her. Now let her sleep on a nice bed, but you should sleep on the floor. This is the upasana you have to do every day. So he said, Datta Guru, okay, fine, I'll do this. For how long I should do this? So you do it for 12 years. 12 years. He says, yeah, 12 years. If you want to learn something, then you have to, we have to go through school 12 years before we can enter college. So that's why he says, okay, 12 years. I'll do it for 12 years. After 12 years, nothing happens. Then Parshuram gets even more frustrated. He says, this Datta Guru must have pulled a fast one on me. Who is this Tripura Devi? I'm doubtful. I'm going to ask him now. He says, when goes back to Datta Guru. He says, Datta Guru, who is this Tripura Devi? 12 years of my life have been wasted. You've told me some voodoo magic. He says, no, no, no. This is not a waste of your time. You have not wasted your time. Because you have done this upasana, because you have done this worship for 12 years, You have in your own mind started contemplating, who is this deity? This question coming into your mind is the result of your upasana. So when we do upasana, this sense of inquiry kindles in our own heart as to what is the truth. Then Datta Guru tells him what is called Tripura Rahasya. This Tripura Rahasya tells about, the nature of the self and the nature of this world and how to be happy and all those good things. All right. In the same manner, when we learn Ramayana, when we learn the Bhagavad Gita, when we learn the Vedas, when we learn the Upanishads, this whole science of becoming really truly happy dawns upon us. Dawns upon us. One more story I will tell about Ram. We haven't come up to Ram yet. Okay. There was one saint in Gondavale. His name was Gondavlekar Maharaj. This Gondavlekar Maharaj, from somewhere near Satara, just south of Pune, he walked all the way to Kashi, Banaras, twice in his life. On one of his trips, he ended up going next to a place called Omkareshwar on the Narmada River near Indore. Okay. In that place, he saw one cave. He wanted to stay there for that night. Okay, so he was going along with one of his disciples, one of his colleagues. So they both were walking to Kashi. When he went inside the cave, he was going to sleep there at night. He saw that there was one Yogi Maharaj sitting there in meditation. Our friends here, Milind, Bhushan and company, you have just come out of your yoga and meditation class, right? So this Yogi Maharaj was sitting there for I don't know how long. So he was just sitting. But when Gondavlekar Maharaj and his colleague entered the cave, this Yogi Maharaj's meditation got disturbed. So then he woke up suddenly. And he asked a question, just at random. He says, Maharaj, has Ram been born yet? Ram ka janma ho gaya hai kya? So Gondalekar Maharaj becomes a bit perplexed. He says, नहीं महाराज आप क्या बात कर रहे हो? No, he says, I was doing meditation, and in my meditation, I came to know that Bhagwan Narayan is going to incarnate himself and come on this earth as Ram. Then I would love to meet this incarnated Ram. I would want to touch his feet, and then I would leave this body. Then I will attain moksha. I will attain liberation from this cycle of birth and death. That was the imagination. Then Gondalekar Maharaj started thinking. He says, you see, Yogi Maharaj, Ram came and went. Ram happened in Treta Yuga. Then after that, one entire cycle happened, Dwapar Yuga. And in that Dwapar Yuga, there was another avatar of Narayana called Krishna. That also came and went. Now it has been about 5,000 plus years since then. And you've been sitting in this meditation for a very long time. So in that meditation, you have gone a bit too far. You should have woken up much earlier, and then you would have been able to see Ram. But then Yogi Maharaj says, now what to do? I have gone too far ahead in time. Ram has been left behind. So Gondavlekar Maharaj says, no, don't worry. Nothing is lost. Not much is lost. What you should do is you should chant the name of Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And then by chanting this name, you will be liberated. You will get moksha. Is that true? Yes, I will give you. So Gondavlekar Maharaj was a realized saint. And he used to give this Ram Nam mantra, japa, to his disciples. My parents, my father happens to be here. He is also a devotee of Gajanan Maharaj. Not Gajanan Maharaj, also Gajanan Maharaj, but also Gondavlekar Maharaj. And he has got this mantra, japa mantra, from Gondavlekar Maharaj's lineage. So when you chant the mantra, you will be liberated. So the Yogi Maharaj gets liberated, he leaves his body, and then Gondavlekar Maharaj and his disciple, they do the Kriya Karma, they do the cremation and everything, and they go forward. Now from this story, what can we learn? See, again, what did we advertise? We advertised that we want to learn from the stories of Ram and how can we improve our own life today? How can we improve our own understanding? How can we clarify our own perception so that we can do whatever we are doing better than what we were doing earlier, right? So what are the things we can learn from this experience? Number one, if you are a yogi, we all do yogasan, we all do want to do pranayam, we want to do meditation, dhyan, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, and all that. Why? Because we can remain steady and we can be blissful. By doing all this, if you do properly, then you can live for many years. How many years? If you look at Bhagavad Puran, it will tell you that this Kali Yuga happens to be 432,000 years, man years, right? 432,000 years of Kali Yuga, in which we have only come about 5,000 some years, 5,200 years or something. That's how long we have traveled in Kali Yuga. So we have another 427,000 years to go before the Kali Yuga ends, if you go according to the time calculation given in the Bhagavad Puran. Before that, there was Dwapar Yuga, which was 864,000 years. So these are multiples of 432,000 years. So 432,000 years, number one, Kali Yuga. 432 multiplied by 2,000 years, Dwapar Yuga. 432 multiplied by 3,000 years, Treta Yuga. In that Treta Yuga, Ram used to live. In that Treta Yuga, Ram appeared on this earth in Ayodhya. So this Yogi Maharaj had been sitting in meditation for more than 1,000,000 years. So the moral of the story is, if you do the yoga practice properly, you can live for 1,000,000 years. Okay. But what did he do for 1,000,000 years? Nothing. He was just sitting there. So just sitting at one place and meditating for 1,000,000 years, is that going to be useful? You think? You can do that. You can do that. Number two, having a desire for getting the darshan of the physical Ram is a noble desire. Who can find fault with this? I want to physically see God incarnated. I'm going to touch his feet. He's going to bless me and I'm going to leave my body. Great desire. Nobody can challenge this, right? But even when we have a noble desire, that noble desire will bind us in this world. Okay, we will not be liberated from this world. That's the second moral of the story. And the third moral of the story is Ram Nam itself, the name of Ram, the chanting of Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. That chanting itself is much more powerful than the physical Ram. So physical Ram came and went, but Ram Nam has survived. We do Ram for everything. If I'm in trouble, I say, Hey Ram. If I'm frustrated, I say, Hi Ram. If I want to greet somebody, I say, Ram Ram. Anything we want to do, if we want to express ourselves in any manner, then we add Ram to it. So if we are in trouble, Hi Ram. If we are happy, Ram Ram. Ram Ji ki Krupa hai. That's what we do. So we add Ram to everything. In Marathi, when somebody dies, we say, Yachatla Ram Gela. So the Ram in this person has left. So Ram is the life principle. Also, we can use the term Ram in terms of the life principle. Okay. So in any case, the Ram Nam is much more powerful than the physical Ram. So if we want to contemplate on Ram, we want to make sure that the principle of Ram is internalized. Not the physical Ram. The physical Ram may or may not come in your life, or may or may not give you darshan. Okay, but the principle of Ram has to be kindled in our heart. So what are those principles? You see, the number one principle of Ram is Ram was equanimous. He was the personification of the term Sthita Pragya or Sthita Prajna that is given in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, the very first verse in the description of the Sthita Prajna is Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyaivatmana tushta stita prajnastadochyate. So someone who has completely overcome all desires, including those desires in the mind, and who is completely absorbed in the self, in the true self, not selfish, but in the true self. You know what selfish means? You stink. Why? Because you're selfish. So we are not selfish. We are contemplating on the self, because this self, the nature of who am I, that is the most important pursuit in life. That's why in our tradition, the highest goal for a human being is self-realization. So the one who is self-realized and who is always immersed in the true self, he is the one who is called Sthita Prajna. So Sthita Prajna is someone whose wisdom is steady, whose intellect is steady, who is calm, quiet, and equanimous under all circumstances, who is complete, who doesn't want anything. Towards the end of this description, Bhagavan says, Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kamakami. Just the way rivers go into the ocean, but the ocean is not disturbed. The level of the ocean doesn't rise because rivers are flowing into it. And if there is a drought, then the level of the ocean doesn't go down. The ocean remains where it is. So the way rivers go into the ocean but don't affect the ocean, in the same manner, the person who is self-realized, in his mind, desires will enter but will have no impact on him. Okay? In this manner, if we live, then the outside world and the pravrutti and the nivrutti will not affect us. That is the manifestation of Ram in our life. That is the manifestation of Ram in our heart, to be equanimous. Now, when does this happen? You see, this divine is going to manifest only when the time is right. When is the time right? The time is right when we have evolved from the Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Varaha avatar, Narasimha avatar, Vamana avatar, Parshurama avatar, and then Rama avatar. We have come up to this stage. This is the Purnata, or the completion of evolution as a human being. So when does this happen? On the Navami. Navami is the highest number we've got. 9 is the highest number we've got, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thereafter the numbers get repeated. So what's the largest number? 9. That 9 is complete. And when does that 9 get complete? When does it get completed? It gets completed at high noon. So on the Navami day of Chaitra, which is the beginning of new cycle, beginning of the new year, 9th day at high noon is when life is complete. That's when Ram is born. Now see what happens with the number 9. Just imagine. With this number 9, if you multiply the number 9 by 1, you get 9. If you multiply that by number 2, you get 18. 1 plus 8 equal to 9. If you multiply by 3, you get 27. 2 plus 7 equal to 9. You multiply 9 by any number. Any number. Pick up any number, random number. Add those numbers. The total will be 9. That's the importance of number 9, even in numerology. Even in numerology. Interestingly enough, the number just before that, Okay, we have gone from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So the number 8 represents Prakriti or the material world. Okay, even in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that Prakriti is Ashtadha. So it is eightfold. Prakriti is eightfold. Now think of what happens to this 8. If you want to increase your material belongings, if you want to increase your wealth, if you are interested in Prakriti, which is what we are as children, when we have not grown up yet, when we have not started contemplating who am I, we are still in Prakriti, right? This Prakriti number 8, 8 multiplied by 1 is equal to 8. What happens to 8 multiplied by 2 if you make it twice as much? 8 multiplied by 2 is equal to 16. What is 16? 1 plus is equal to 7. So you wanted to double your belongings, material wealth, but you actually got it reduced. Okay, we'll multiply it 3 times. 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. So 24 means 2 plus 4 equal to 6. Oh, you wanted to increase your wealth. You wanted to multiply your wealth 3 times, but then you have actually reduced it. Multiply by 4, 32. Oh, 5. Multiply by 5, 40. Only 4. Multiply by 6. What has happened? 8 multiplied by 6 is 48. 48 means what? 4 plus 8 equal to 12. 1 plus 2 equal to 3. It has gone down further. It will keep happening until you go to 64. 8 multiplied by 8 is equal to 64. 6 plus 4, 10. 1 plus 0, 1. Only when this Prakriti is multiplied by 9, the Purana Purusha. 8 multiplied by 9 equal to 72. Answer 9. So Prakriti has merged into the Purusha. Right? It has reached Purnatva only when it has merged with Purusha. So this is the importance of the number 9. When that number 9 is reached in our own life through evolution, means we have purified ourselves sufficiently enough. We have risen above our attachment with Prakriti, with material world. Then only the number 9, then only the Ram principle will manifest in our own heart. That's how Ram is born in our own heart. So if you came here to want to listen to Ram's story, I'm not telling you Ram's story. I'm telling you some stories connected with the life of Ram and how they are relevant to us now, today. Now let's look at the story of Ram's birth. So this Dasharath, the king, wanted to have children. He had 3 wives, but no children. That is our problem. We try to do so many things to have children. So then he must have done some good deeds. He did some Putra Kameshti Yajna and all that. And then he was blessed by the relevant deities and he said, okay, now you will have children. So he got 4 kids. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna. All of this we know. Now he is in love with Ram. Why will somebody not be in love with Ram? Because Ram is a lovable kid. So once Ram becomes, of age, he comes of age, then Ram gets married. They have a wonderful wedding and all those stories you know. But then once the coronation is supposed to happen, tomorrow the coronation is supposed to happen. Tonight something happens and then Ram is sent to the forest, exiled. Ram himself is cool. He says, okay, if I'm not going to become the king, my father is asking or my stepmother is asking me to go to the forest in exile. It's okay. He is not unnecessarily elated and unnecessarily depressed. So that second verse of that description of the Sthita Prajna, it says, Dukkeshu anad vignamana, Sukheshu vigataspluha, Vitaraga bhaya krodha, Sthitadhir munir uchate. So the one who doesn't get agitated by things that don't go my way, the one who doesn't get elated by things that go my way or his way or one's way, then that person is equanimous. So Ram was like that. Again, personification of the Sthita Prajna Lakshan. So he doesn't get agitated. But then once the boy goes into the forest, then the father is agitated and he says Ram, 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 and he dies. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, even if Bhagavan Narayan becomes my son, if I am overly attached to my son, that son whom I love, whom I am attached to, is going to become the cause of my death. So what do I learn from this? What I learn from this, what I have learned from this is, I can give a warm, loving environment to my own kids to grow up in my home. But I cannot be unduly attached to them. I should let them be. I should let them live their own life. I should not interfere in their life. I should be happy with their achievements, be proud of their achievements, but not unnecessarily interfere in their life. Let them live their life. It's okay. That's how I have treated or I'm treating my children. I want to treat my children. Never interfere. If they ask for guidance, I'm open to giving guidance. If they don't need my guidance, great. They can live their own life. They are intelligent enough. If I need their support or guidance, I will call up and I say, this is what I want to do. What do you think of this? Can I do this? This is the kind of relationship as a friend after a certain age I should have with my children. That's what I have learned from this story. So if Narayana cannot help you out, our children are our children. They are not Narayana's avatar, right? So we need to learn these things from these stories like Ram. So these are some of the short stories I have learned. There are so many more stories I can tell about Ram and then what we have learned from them. But if we learn from these stories, then those stories are relevant. The ultimate story or the ultimate thing we need to learn from all of this is, even though it seems to us that this whole world is outside of us and appearing to us to be outside, this world is not really outside. This world appears to be outside, but it is experienced by us within us. Which means that the world outside and its experience within us are interrelated. Okay? So right now you are experiencing that I'm talking to you. You are not experiencing this. You are actually experiencing through your eyes only a shape and some colors, Roop Ranga. And in your ears, you are experiencing some sounds, Shabda. To this experience, you are interpreting as Vikram Dada is talking to me from Pennsylvania. Correct? Now, if this whole conversation is heard by somebody, say, in France or Spain who doesn't understand English at all, what will they experience? They will have the exact same experience you are having. They will also see the same shape, the same colors, and hear the same sounds. But that experience will not make sense for them because they don't know English. They don't understand English. So they won't understand the words being spoken, the sentences being spoken, the thoughts being expressed, because it's not their language. You see what I'm saying? So the world may appear to be outside, but the way I experience it and the way I interpret my experience depend or decides what that world is to me. So the world outside, the world that is common to all of us, by the way, the world that is common to all of us is divine creation. Our Rishi says in Ishopanishad, he says, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, this whole world, this entire world is Ishavasyam. This is pervaded by the divine. The divine lives in this, okay, completely full of divine. Yatkincha jagatyan jagat. Even the smallest thing in this world is pervaded by the divine. Tyena tyaktena bhunjitha. We have to enjoy it by Renunciation, tena tyaktena, not tena bhogena. Magrudakkasya svidhanam. So whatever doesn't belong to us, we should not covet. Now you tell me what belongs to us in this world. Does anything belong to us in this world? Really, nothing belongs to us in this world because everything in this world simply exists. This whole world existed before I came in this body on this planet. Correct? Even this body is not created by me. This body was given to me by my parents and nature's laws. So whatever I consider to be my body, that body is actually only a combination and conglomeration of all kinds of molecules. Those molecules used to be in this world. They have always been in this world. Material can never be destroyed. It can only be transformed. So my body is only a transformation of all the food I have eaten. And the food I have eaten was the transformation of the water, earth, and air that came together through the process of photosynthesis. Elements, fundamental elements, they came together through the process of photosynthesis and manifested themselves as food, which I consumed and manifested myself as Vikram. Think. So it doesn't belong to me. Not even my body belongs to me. Nothing belongs to me. This sense of ownership is only a notion. It's not real. In fact, we leave this body every night when we go to bed. When we go to bed, who am I? I have left this body, I have left this whole world. I don't have the experience of my body, I don't have the experience of this world. And I'm in bliss, right? So who am I? Am I this body? No, I don't experience this body when I'm asleep. I must be something different from the body. When we start contemplating on this, that is when Ram has manifested in our heart. How do we understand these things the way I have understood? You see, the way I have understood these things is through clarity of perception. And that clarity of perception is possible through, in my case, I have noticed, through Ahar Shuddhi. Ahar Shuddhi is diet purification. That's the reason when Milind, our brother, introduced me, he said, I'm involved with a program called Sattva. That Sattva program is designed for participants to learn the principles of how we can maintain a pure body and through this pure body, a pure mind, through purification of diet. When we do that, minor side benefits like normalization of weight, normalization of blood pressure, normalization of blood sugar, all kinds of things will happen. These are minor side benefits, minor. Okay, you will become very healthy. About that, there is no doubt. Greater side benefit is our mind becomes very calm. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogadan atmanyeva atmana tushta sthita prajnasta uchate. This will be understood from within. And you get such a sense of joy, such a sense of joy and freedom. You realize that you were never bound in the first place. Na nirodho na cha utpatti, na baddho na cha sadhaka, na mukshur, na mukta na mukshurvai, ittesha paramarthata. The true self, our own true self, can never be bound. It can never be bound. We think that we are bound, but we are not. When we realize that, that realization itself is called moksha. That realization itself is called the manifestation of Ram in our own heart. So I wish and pray that all of you will experience this manifestation of Ram in your own heart while you are in this body, before leaving this body. That will be the end of the game. Then you can live happily thereafter. Correct? Thank you. Any questions or comments? Wonderful to see all of you here. There are 34 people here right now. I hope you were able to understand what I talked about. If you have any doubts or if you have any questions or if you would like to contemplate on some of these things, by all means unmute yourself and or raise a hand or something and then we can talk.
Yeah, I think मी भावे बोलतोय.
Namaskar, Prakash Dada, bola.
Your Prakriti's example was fantastic. Prakriti
Thank
gets
you.
reduced when you try to multiply that.
Yes.
That was,
Isn't it? So fantastic.
yeah, yeah. Heard it for the
Yeah.
first time.
I-
Anybody else? Bula Didi?
Yes, I'm also very fascinated on, how you said nine digit is the highest one. And then he also added, like, 9 times 4 is 36. And then you add 2 digits, 3 plus 6 is 9. It's
Correct.
awesome. And then decreasing in the same way. It's just awesome. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Didi.
Mhm.
Samir, you
Mama,
wanted to ask me a question. Go ahead. Say.
yes, Mama, great to have joined you for the first time. I mean, with age, everyone, I suppose that with age, everyone gets inclined to philosophical, leanings. I just wanted to ask you one thing. I read a few books. I'm just a beginner in this. I started reading some books, and they give me a lot of contentment and peace of mind. But this is when I am at home. When I get back to my workplace, then all this, this just blows away because of obviously the reasons. So how can one be sthit prajna in such situations? Because every day in the morning I go to my office, taking a place that I won't get irritated, I won't get angry at my I mean uh,
The situation.
who-
Yeah.
yeah. But then once I reach the place, everything is just, it's just
It gets blown away. Whatever we have learned.
yes,
So for this 1 hour, you were here and you understood everything. You felt great.
yeah,
But then once you go out of here, then
yeah,
there is trouble. Okay, so let's
yes,
contemplate on that. Let's contemplate. That's a good question because many times people have the same problem. They think that, when we go and listen to something good, we feel really wonderful. During that time, it feels, yes, this is it. This is how we should live. See, what happens is this world influences us because we think that the world is real. What happens is, think of it in this way. I just told you that this outside world is a mirror image of our own mind. What happens is we experience the world as Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandha in our own mind. Once that sensation is experienced in our mind, then we interpret that experience and say that this is the world. This is what happens. Okay. The reality is both the external world and the inner experience are interdependent. Okay. They depend upon each other. So for example, if I don't talk at all, you will have no experience. Number one. Number two, if I'm talking but you close your ears or you close your eyes, then there will be no experience. Correct? So just merely my talking to you doesn't make any difference. You have to be listening. You have to be experiencing that also. Okay. But if you interpret it as the world is real and I'm only experiencing it as its impression, then you will be mistaken. That's not true. Things will happen in the world. Things have always been happening in the world. How do we interact with it and how do we deal with it in our own mind is more important. Okay. So think of why did these avatars get manifested? Think. Matsya avatar happened because to protect the earth from something. Kurma avatar happened because, protect the world from something. Bhagwan himself has said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम. उसके लिए सब वे भगवान आते हैं हमेशा धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Right? So whenever there is an imbalance, then the divine will manifest and try to fix the world. Okay. Now you tell me that Bhagwan has come here at least 7, 8 times. He's supposed to come once again, 9th or 10th time. He has not been able to fix the world. How can you and I fix the world? We cannot fix the world. So if we understand that world is unfixable, then we will be safe. Number one. Now we have to protect ourselves from the world. Okay, so when you get a driving license, the traffic in Nagpur does not change, but your ability to deal with the traffic is supposed to be good. Okay, so that you can protect yourself in this traffic. So don't expect that the world is going to change. Don't expect that at all. But your ability to deal with this world will change. How will this ability change? When you learn all these things. When you learn all these things. So I'll give you another example. Since you are a doctor, see, when I wake up in the morning, I feel very hungry. So what do? I try
you.
to. What happened, Bula Didi?
Got your sound got dropped for a second.
Are you able to hear me again now?
Now I can hear you.
So the
but I would
internet was
like to say
unstable. I think
something.
even I got the message that the internet was unstable. What was the last thing you heard?
World is something. The sentence is not coming to me. So few seconds.
Few seconds,
But
only a few
that's
seconds. Okay, so
fine.
let's go
Only
back to
few
our story.
seconds.
No problem. So I'll go back to the story. So Samir, to answer your question, when we wake up in the morning, we feel hungry. So what do? We eat breakfast. Then something happens, world happens, work happens, everything happens. We go to the work and we do some things and all that. And then by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we again get hungry. Then what do? We eat lunch. Then again, we do some more work in the hospital, get perturbed by people doing all kinds of things. By evening, when we come back, we are tired, but we are still hungry. But what do? We eat dinner. That's what you do. Correct? In the same manner, when we hear something in this satsang, then you are recharged. Recharged. Now I'm going, I'm ready to go to work and I'm ready to face the world. But then in 4 or 5 hours, the world will show you your place. अपनी औकात दिखा देगी. Then you get perturbed once again. Then what do? Then go back and contemplate. Go back and contemplate. The only way to deal with the world is to make sure that we are completely rock solid and rock steady. If we bring that Ram into our heart and manifest the Ram in our heart, why? How? By this purification process. So purity in living, purity in diet, purity in thought, purity in all kinds of things. Maintain that purity so that your ability to deal with the world improves. In fact, in medical terms, let me explain this to you. When you do this purity of diet, when you do the diet purification, our immunity is very strong. So during this entire corona pandemic, I'm sure I was exposed to coronavirus. I'm sure. It had no effect. No effect. Okay.
Again, your voice got dropped. Last two sentences.
Again, my voice is breaking.
Yes.
Yeah, if we can start from when you do the purity of diet, that's where we lost.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to stop this recording for a few seconds. Just bear with me. I'm going to change my internet. Hold on. So what was the last thing you heard? We were
When
talking
you
about immunity,
start the
right? We were talking
purity
about
of
immunity.
diet.
Okay, so Samir, since you are a doctor,
Yes.
what I have experienced, I will tell you. And I'll give you facts, numbers. Okay. So once you purify the diet, then the body gets purified. Number one, because this body gets constructed by the kind of food we have eaten. Number one. So, and then the body has to metabolize all the food. Right? The food gets metabolized by natural law. It doesn't get metabolized by us. Okay. I have control over eating my food, but I don't have any control over digesting my food. That gets digested according to the principles of digestion which you have learned in medical school. I don't have to explain them to you. Only when that digestion is complete should I put any more food into my system. Otherwise, I should not. If I remain in this kind of mode all the time, then I don't get sick. In the last 5 years, whenever they tested me, I do testing once every year. So they will do the testing of pulse and the oxygen concentration, right? You do this every day, all the time.
Yeah.
This number, Samir, I'm glad to report to you, has been 100 for 5 years consistently throughout the pandemic. without taking any
Great.
medicine. Only food as medicine. If you can maintain your life in this manner, immunity is very strong. Means what? Ram is doing my Raksha. Why? Because Ram has manifested in my heart. Ram has been born in my heart. That is the manifestation of Ram who is doing my Raksha. There is no Ram and Lakshman, Atta Sajja Dhanusha, Vishwasprasha. That is not, there are no two Angarakshak in front of me. Ram, the principle of Ram has to be born in our heart. Only then it will protect us. Otherwise, you can do bhajan kirtan, Ram will never come. Ram is the most troubled god or deity in this whole universe because everybody keeps calling Ram, 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 Ram. Okay? But they don't listen to what Ram is trying to teach us. So, for example, you have a daughter and you have a son, right? So, and they bother their mother. Mummy, 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 mummy. Mummy says, what do you want? No, no, mummy, 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 mummy. They don't listen to mummy, just mummy, mummy, mummy. So what? Mummy will become so tired of them. That's what happens to Ram. If we just chant Ram's name and we don't actually adhere to the principles we have learned from his life, then Ram will simply ignore us. That's not the way we should live. If we learn the principles of life, if we learn how to live according to what we have studied in the scriptures, then our ability to deal with the world improves greatly. So on the physical level, our immunity improves. On the mental level also, our equanimity is never lost, and therefore our mind becomes immune to all the disturbances of the mind because of all the things that are happening in the world. So in the time of Narasimha Avatar, that happened in Satya Yuga. In that Satya Yuga, demons, Rakshas, like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha existed. Correct? Then his Hiranyakashipu's son was Bhakta Prahlad. He did all kind of tapasya and Narasimha Avatar happened. Correct? So even in Satya Yuga, there were Rakshas. Then come to Treta Yuga. In Ram's time, there was Ravan, Kumbhakarna, this Vali. All these people were there. Then you come to Dwapar Yuga in Krishna's time. Then there was Kamsa, Chanura, then Duryodhan, Dushasan, Dhritarashtra. All kinds of people were there, right? Now you come to Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, all of us are there. So what has changed? Nothing has changed. The world has always been like this. The world is not going to change. The world is like kutte ki dum. If you want to straighten it, it doesn't happen. Why? Because it's a reflection of my own mind. Until my mind is cleared, until my mind is straightened out, the world will not get fixed. How do you straighten your mind? Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. Learn yoga. Do the Ashtanga yoga. So in our Sattva program, we do diet purification. We also do Ashtanga yoga. We do meditation. We teach. I should not say teach. I'm not a teacher. I just share my experience of what I have learned from all these practices. And because of this internal practice or inner practice, and also my external practice happens to be environmental conservation. I have done a PhD in environmental engineering. You know that. So externally or professionally, I do environmental stewardship. How do we make sure that the environment is protected? Protected from whom? Protected from us. So through my profession as well as through my inner practice, they both merged. And I have realized that this Ram is not in the book. This Ram is not in the Ramayana. This Ram is not in the stories. Ram is in my heart. Once I learn that, then life is fulfilled. P.S. Deshmukh, you wanted to ask a question. Namaskar and so glad to see you.
Good morning.
Yes.
खूप चांगलं वाटलं विक्रम.
Yes, thank
मजा
you.
आला.
Thank you so much
म्हणजे
for attending
story of
and
8 and 9 is very interesting to me.
correct.
आणि म्हणजे 8 मध्ये म्हणजे 0, 8 is equal to 0, जहां से चले थे वहीं आ गए.
Correct. If you multiply 8,
9 is Purna.
9 is Purna. 9 is
Purna.
Purna. So this
And
9, there was another interesting story I'll tell you.
Hmm.
Very interesting story. I heard this, apparently Amitabh Bachchan told this story to somebody. So the number 9, number 8, number 7, all of them were standing in one line. Okay, 1 through 9. So this number 9 turned towards 8 and he said that I am bigger than you. So he slaps number 8. Then 8 turns towards number 7. 8 cannot slap number 9 because 9 is bigger. So 8 turns towards 7 and slaps number 7. Then 7 turns towards 6 and slaps number 6. So like that, they go all the way to 1. Now 1 is not able to slap anybody because nobody is smaller than 1. So smaller than 1 is 0. So what do we do? Then he says, I'm not going to slap you. I'm just going to embrace you. You come stand next to me. Once the 0 stands next to 1, then they become 10. Then they become bigger than 9.
Right.
Correct? So this is the number game. If we learn from these small things, then the
Wonderful.
principle of Haram has manifested in our heart. So I think that's how we should live. Bhushan?
Then in
Milind?
North India, there are 3 terms
Huh.
very commonly used. Ram
Yes.
banaye jodi,
Uh-huh.
Ram bharose, or Ram bachaye.
Ha,
These are
correct.
very common in life. पहले तो कोई आप मुश्किल में होते हैं तो राम बचाए, और
Yes.
यदि आपको बचना है तो राम भरोसे,
Yes.
और आपकी लाइफ शुरू होती है तो राम ने बनाई जोड़ी, राम बनाए जोड़ी.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
वेरी प्योरली, और इन रब ने बना दी जोड़ी तो वो राम ने बनाई जोड़ी. Thank you very much.
You are most welcome.
Can
Anybody
I add
else has any?
something?
Yes, please.
Can I add something? So when Dr. Samir said that when we learn something, and right now we were trying to learn something, and then when we go to outside world,
Didi,
it
can I just
becomes-
interrupt you for just 1 second? It has been an hour of contemplation. So if people want to leave, I'm sure, people have other things to do. If they wish to leave, please leave, but leave your number, WhatsApp number on the chat, on the Zoom chat,
Okay.
so that we will have the number. Bula Didi, we can talk. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so basically what I wanted to tell you, just an example, 2 things I wanted to tell you, that I went to a 1-week training last week. Director of the program came, hey Bula, we decided that we are going to go to barbecue, and would you like to join with us? And then I said to myself, I wish I could go, but I'm doing fasting. I'm on 7th day today. So I will try to join you next day, but I didn't say rudely that I can, So I came back, started doing yoga, and I started to feel really great, But the next day I went with them, right? So what I'm trying to say is we sometimes we have to tell them that, this is what I'm doing in a nice way. Then actually I accomplished something. I wanted to do something that I can be happy, And then other thing also, Mother Teresa once said that it's not, how you said you are listening. It's not a question of how much we listen, how much we can implement in our life. That's the important thing.
Correct.
So we can gradually add to it, whatever we learn.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for sharing this insight with us. So Panini Telang has raised a hand. So Panini Telang, would you like to say something? Please go ahead.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
मला एक छोटासा प्रश्न विचारायचा होता.
ओके.
तो असा आहे की भगवान श्रीराम जेव्हा बालपणात होते तेव्हा वसिष्ठ गुरूंमुळे त्यांच्यामध्ये स्थितप्रज्ञता आली की ती दैविक शक्तीच त्यांना मिळालेली होती की अनुभवातनं ते स्थितप्रज्ञ झाले? तुमचे विचार आहे का?
Sure. So that's a nice question. Panini Telang has asked a question whether Ram learned all these things through the training he got from his guru Vasishtha, or whether he learned this from experience. And I would say both. See, what happened is, the reason he was sent to Vashishta was because before going to Vashishta, he had become quite detached. Quite detached. So, or whether it was before or after, I don't really remember, but he had become detached. And he was trained by Vashishta Muni. He was trained by his gurus, given the training as well as experience. It's not that if you learn something that you will learn theoretically. You know, the knowledge of the self is not a theoretical knowledge. The knowledge of the self is experiential. I would say any true knowledge is experiential. And you cannot really truly explain that to anybody. So for example, let's just look at secular knowledge, like, you know, the taste of mango, for example. You know, this is mango season in Bharat right now. Everybody must be enjoying mangoes, I hope. So if you are eating a mango, whatever kind of mango you like, and you want to describe that to either me or to anybody else, you may give an entire lecture on what the mango is like. You can write an essay on what the mango is like, but will you be able to transfer that experience to me? No, it's not possible. So this is not a theoretical knowledge. The knowledge of the self and the knowledge of all these principles is not theoretical. Even in this contemplation today, what you have learned from me is, you know, you only heard words from me. But if you understood something, then that's your own understanding from within, right? So experience happens to us from within. Yes, training is also necessary, but experience is also necessary. And I'm sure Ram had both. Otherwise, it will not manifest in his life the way it did. So even though one day his father says, next day, tomorrow, you are going to become the king, he is neither elated by that. And when he is told that, no, you are going to the forest, you are exiled, he is not unnecessarily perturbed by that either. He says, okay, fine. If this is what I need to do, I will do that. So this is what we need to learn from Ram. So anyway, we have gone 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes over our stipulated
Sir, a
time.
small
So
question related to that only.
yeah,
You said that he got detached at a very low age.
young age, yeah.
Being a Rajkumar, why he should have a detachment?
See, this kind of thing can happen. You know, this thing happened even to Gautam Buddha. You know, he
Gautam
was
Buddha, but that was a
enjoying.
different reason.
Yeah,
That was a totally different reason. He was kept isolated for years, and when he saw the world, then he got detached.
correct.
Such any example by which we can say that he got a detachment for this particular reason?
Ram,
Yeah.
see, if you learn Vedanta at a very young age, and if you learn that the whole world is an illusion, you know, you
Okay.
could
Yes.
develop that
Yeah.
kind of detachment, and then you could lose interest in the world. But then as the
Right.
king, you cannot lose interest in the world. As the king, you have to rule the world. So even after realizing who you are, you need to fulfill your duty. Okay.
Right.
So if we are in a stage in our own life where we have realized, okay, you realize who you are, but then after that, play the role. So Ram
Right.
was encouraged to play that role, and he played that role to perfection so that he could be a role model for all of us.
Correct.
Okay. And that Ram principle, that Ram Naam continues to inspire us to this date.
True.
I will tell you one other thing. If that principle of Ram is established in our heart, once we realize who we are, then you will understand that even time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. There is an entirely different contemplation on this. If you want to go through the YouTube videos, there is one video that says काळ म्हणजे काय. त्याच्यावर चिंतन करा थोडंसं. So it's a fantastic chintan. But anyway, I should thank all of you for coming here for such a long time and spending an hour and 10 minutes of your valuable time on Sunday with me. Appreciate that. I was able to contemplate in your company. Appreciate that very much. Okay.
हा
Yes.
नमस्कार. खूप छान वाटलं. खूप छान ऐकलं. समजलं सगळं आणि
Wonderful.
फॉलो करू आता. या धन्यवाद आणि
We'll
नमस्कार.
meet like this another time again with some other topic. Until then, stay tuned. Okay. Namaskar.
Sure.